Every Sunday morning, before the city truly woke up, an old man wearing the same brown coat walked slowly through the iron gates of the cemetery. Zen, winter, summer heat. It didn't matter. For 15 years, he had never missed a single Sunday. In his trembling hands, he carried fresh white lilies. Always white lilies. Always the same grave. The caretakers knew him. Visitors noticed him, but nobody knew his story. The old man never stayed long. He would kneel beside the grave, gently clean the stone with a handkerchief, replace the flowers, whisper a few quiet words, and then leave, as though he had fulfilled a promise only he understood. The name engraved on the stone read, Emma Carter, beloved daughter, beloved friend, gone too soon. Every week, he would trace the letters of her name with his fingers, almost as if he was afraid they might disappear one day. For years, nobody asked who Emma was. His daughter? His wife? His sister? The old man never answered questions. He simply came, and he simply left. Then one cold autumn Sunday, everything changed. As he approached the grave with his flowers, he stopped. Someone was already there. A young woman sat quietly beside the headstone. She couldn't have been older than 25. A small bouquet rested beside her feet. The old man hesitated. In 15 years, no one had ever been there before him. The young woman looked up and offered a polite smile. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I didn't mean to intrude." The old man nodded. "It's all right." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Only the wind moved through the trees above them. Finally, the young woman looked at the grave. "Did you know Emma too?" The old man's eyes remained fixed on the stone. "Very well," he replied quietly. The young woman lowered her gaze. "So did I, for the first time in years." The old man looked surprised. "You knew her?" The woman nodded. "She saved my life once." The old man frowned gently. "Ow!" The young woman took a deep breath. "When I was 11 years old, I was admitted to St. Mary's Hospital for almost 6 months. I was scared all the time. My parents worked 2 jobs. They visited when they could, but most days I was alone." She smiled faintly through watery eyes. Then one day, a teenage volunteer walked into my room carrying a book and a box of crayons. That volunteer was Emma. The old man's hands tightened around the flowers. She came back every week. She read stories to me. She brought games. She made the nurses laugh. And somehow, she made hospitals feel less frightening. The old man closed his eyes, because he knew that sounded exactly like Emma. The young woman continued. "One day, I asked her why she spent so much time helping strangers. She smiled and said something I never forgot. The woman looked toward the sky. She said, 'When pain visits your life, you can either let it make you smaller or let it teach you how to make someone else's pain lighter.'" The old man looked away quickly, as though hiding tears had become a habit. "I was discharged a few weeks later," the woman said. "I wanted to thank her, but I found out she had died in a car accident only days earlier." Silence fell between them. Only the sound of distant birds filled the air. The old man slowly sat beside the grave. She was 23. The woman turned toward him. "You were her father?" He nodded quietly. For years, he had avoided saying those words out loud, because saying them made her absence feel real all over again. "I used to think grief became smaller with time," he said. "But it doesn't. It simply learns how to sit quietly beside you." The young woman wiped her eyes. "I almost didn't come today. I found this cemetery address in an old hospital newsletter. I wanted to tell her thank you." The old man stared at the headstone. For 15 years, he had believed the world had slowly forgotten his daughter. Perhaps he had been wrong. The young woman reached into her bag and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "It's a letter," she said. "I wrote it years ago. I never got the chance to give it to her." Slowly, she handed it to him. His hand shook as he opened it. Inside were simple words. "Thank you for making me feel brave. Thank you for making me feel seen. Thank you for staying when everyone else was busy. Because of you, I became a pediatric nurse. Now I sit beside frightened children the same way you once sat beside me." The old man's vision blurred. For years, he had visited this grave carrying only loss. But for the first time, someone had brought him proof that Emma's kindness had survived her, that her story had continued long after hers had ended. Tears rolled down his face. Not the painful tears he had carried for 15 years. Different tears. Softer tears. The kind that arrive when grief finally makes room for gratitude. The young woman stood to leave. Before walking away, she looked back and smiled. She would be proud of you for coming every Sunday. The old man looked at the grave and whispered, "No." He smiled gently through tears. "I think today she'd be proud of both of us." As the morning sun broke through the clouds, two bouquets rested beside Emma's grave. For 15 years, the old man had come alone. This Sunday, he didn't leave that way, because sometimes grief doesn't disappear. Sometimes, it simply becomes lighter when someone else agrees to carry a small part of it with you. And if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories of kindness, love, and hope deserve to be remembered. And sometimes, sharing a story can help carry someone else's burden too. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next story.